How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to 2A News Now. And if you're new to the channel, my name is Troy. And here at 2A News Now, you get your Second Amendment news straightforward and to the point. We found out during the Biden administration that some officials at the ATF illegally reclassified some job titles of some of the people in the ATF so they could get an illegal boost in pay. And even though whistleblowers came forward, nothing was done about it during the Biden administration. But of course, we have a new sheriff in town. And now 2 Republican senators have asked Attorney General Pam Bondi to look into this abuse and fraud in the ATF that they say still continues to this day. Iowa Republican senators Chuck Grassley and Joni Ernst wrote a letter to Pam Bondi, and they asked her to investigate ATF employees, as well as take action against those employees that, according to the agency's own Internal Affairs Division, as well as an audit by Office of Personnel Management, showed salaries were increased, which in turn wasted taxpayer dollars by intentionally, let me repeat, intentionally misclassifying the status of some workers within the ATF. And it's not like Pam Bondi and the people that are going to take a look into this have to take time to find out who was actually doing this. Because in the senator's letter to Pam Bondi, they actually named the 2 supervisors in the ATF that were doing this illegal misclassification. The names of the agents are Lisa Boykin and Ralph Biddleary. And they say the Internal Affairs Department audit that not only did they continue with the misclassification scheme, and they both knowingly did so, even though it violated the Office of Personnel Management directives and standards. But get this, they also retaliated against whistleblowers that tried to come forward and expose these illegal misclassifications. And also in the letter to AG Pam Bondi, the senators say that the 2 supervisory ATF agents in question were actually promoted before Joe Biden left office. And to this day, they still work at the ATF under now President Trump. And according to the 2 senators, the 2 ATF agents decided to move forward with relocating an ATF law enforcement officer in Phoenix to an administrative position at ATF headquarters in Washington, D.C., despite the Office of Personnel Management identifying the position as misclassified. And they say even though an internal investigation report showed Agent Biddleary agreed to rescind the job offer, but then later on had a conversation with Agent Boykin. So after the conversation between the 2 agents, did they do the right thing and still rescind that job offer? Of course they didn't. They decided to move ahead with the unauthorized relocation of that agent. And also the Internal Affairs report shows that Agent Biddleary attempted to hide the unlawful assignment and submitted the promotion directly to the payroll department for processing. But that's not it. The 2 senators also talked about misconduct within the ATF's workforce, wellness and service division. According to the senators, Agent Biddleary tried to reclassify the chief of the Workforce Wellness Service Division as a member of law enforcement. And when someone at the agency documented, as well as attempted to warn other employees that what Agent Biddleary was trying to do violated the directives of Office of Personnel Management, and that person that came forward was threatened with insubordination. And according to the 2 senators, the Office of Personnel Management said that the 2 agents schemed to promote employees and to misclassify the status of those employees cost taxpayers $20 million over 5 years. But the 2 senators also said that that number is substantially higher. And in the 2 senators' letter to Pam Bondi, they say that the Office of Personnel Management failed to fully account for millions of taxpayer dollars the ATF wasted on relocation costs and expenses of moving favored law enforcement officers to their field offices, to and from misclassified positions located at the ATF headquarters in Washington, D.C. And that whistleblowers said that potentially hundreds of ATF law enforcement officers in the field, of ATF law enforcement officers and ATF field officers across the nation continue to occupy administrative positions and unlawfully receive enhanced law enforcement benefits, which in turn could make the actual cost to taxpayers in the hundreds of millions of dollars. And the 2 senators also requested that Pam Bondi conduct a comprehensive review of ATF field offices to ensure taxpayer dollars are not wasted on unlawfully paying enhanced law enforcement benefits to ATF employees performing administrative duties. Also in the letter to Pam Bondi, the two senators said that the two supervisory agents, Boykin and Bidelary, engaged in gross and substantial waste, fraud, and abuse and misconduct at the expense of taxpayers in furtherance of ATF's illegal misclassification scheme, retaliated against whistleblowers who exposed it and then were promoted for it. But they also assert that the ATF's Internal Affairs Division uncovered evidence that the two ATF agents engaged in what can be described as potential criminal misconduct by knowingly falsifying and fraudulently certifying government records, defrauding taxpayers, and attempting to conceal their illegal activity, and by retaliating and attempting to silence whistleblowers. The two senators asked AG Pam Bondi to fire both Boykin and Bidelary from any leadership positions at the DOJ and the ATF, while also seeking protections for the whistleblowers who have come forward to attest to the abuses that they have seen. And according to the two senators, several whistleblowers say they have suffered as a result of their actions, including being demoted and subject to repeated attempts by the ATF and JMD management to discredit their reputations and ruin their careers. And the two senators' letter ended with, the Attorney General has the power to bring accountability, and saying without it nothing will change, before challenging her to take action. Now for sure, Attorney General Pam Bondi needs to investigate these two criminal ATF agents, and they need to be charged criminally, and they need to be put behind bars, as well as anybody else that had anything to do with it. And I know a lot of people like Pam Bondi and Cass Patel and others have a lot on their plate, but that's what they signed up for, to get rid of fraud, waste, and abuse in these agencies. And that's definitely what's happening at the ATF. And we've known it for a long time. So please let me know in the comments section, what do you think of these two ATF agents and what they've done to cost taxpayers millions, if not hundreds of millions of dollars? And how long should they be put away for? And also, if you enjoy videos like this, and you also want to help the channel out and help it to continue to grow, please just take a few seconds of your time to like, share, and subscribe, and hit those post notifications. I really would appreciate it. And I invite all of you to come back and watch my next video.